gives more money and gives more time to charity, Republicans versus Democrats, liberals versus conservatives? She said, oh, Democrats give more time. Democrats give more charity. Liberals give more time. Liberals give more charity. I said, actually, it's been studied. There's a book called Who Really Cares by a man named Arthur Brooks. And he was shocked because he thought the same thing you thought. He grew up in a non-political household. He wasn't liberal. He wasn't conservative. He was just kind of in the middle. But he just knew intuitively that Democrats were more generous with their time, with their money. He was shocked to find out it was the opposite. And in many instances, it isn't even close.
What's going on, everyone? Starts with Kenny here. Today we're reacting to a Larry Elder video. Once again, he's going to shock a liberal with basic facts that they don't know about conservatives. Usually this is the case. Liberals tend to try to stay in an echo chamber. I see conservatives actively trying to have discussions, actively having to have their ideas challenged and tested. But hey, I digress. Let's get into the video.
I have a physical therapist. We don't usually talk about politics, but I know she's left-wing. But for some reason, the last session, we started talking about politics. And she said, conservatives, they're so selfish. They only care about themselves. They only care about money. That's why I am a liberal.
Nothing but narratives there, bruh. That's like, this is what I will say, right? The Stoics talk about that, stop complaining what a good man should be and just be one, right? And when they start talking about, oh, conservatives are this, conservatives are that, and I go, okay, but what are you doing? Usually I get a whole lot of nothing. Like literally, they don't say anything. What charity you donated to? They don't have anything tangible that they're doing. They just believe, no, the rich should pay a bunch of taxes, so that way those tax money is used to help the poor. But you can you can voluntarily give more money to the government through your tax returns, right? Y'all know that, right? So that's what I'm saying. Put your money where your mouth is. You only want to be charitable with other people's money, but you don't want to be charitable with your money. That's the problem that conservatives have. Conservatives have this idea, and this is why I believe I'm primarily a conservative, is this two-way street. If you're not willing to do it in your personal life, why are you demanding other people to do it when you wouldn't even do it?
Nope.
Oh, it's because you don't got money. Oh, it's because you're poor. Bro, come on. You can give what you can, right? But hey, I digress. Let's get back into it. Let's let Larry Elder go in.
Now, when your physical therapist is administering pain to you, you're kind of reluctant to take her off. But at some point, I couldn't take it. I said, what is your basis for saying that? She said, well, they're just selfish. I said, you know, this has been studied. There's a book called Who Really Cares by a guy named Arthur C. Brooks. And Arthur C. Brooks was not a conservative. He was a public policy professor at Syracuse University. He wanted to do a paper on something people haven't done before, and he was shocked to find out nobody had ever done an extensive study on whether or not liberals or conservatives were more generous with their time, with their money. And he was shocked to find out that conservatives, by far, give more money, give more time than do liberals.
Them liberals mad right now. And this is my thing that I've been like thinking about, that liberals, they seem to have this like almost emotional outlook on the world, right? These things are about feelings. I want to feel like I'm a good guy. Oh, the Democratic Party paint themselves as for the little guy, and that's good. For the underdog, that's good. That's a bunch of narrative. That's just a facade, right? And this is why I'm saying, hey, stop voting on people, or stop liking people based on their ability to look presidential. Right? That's just flash. What about the substance? What are they doing? I don't care if you think the person's a bad person, right? Good things can happen from bad people, right? That's the saying, right? Because you only can judge the action, but you can't judge no human being. To me, you judge someone else, it's like, okay, a flawed human being judging another flawed human being for this happenstance of them doing bad, or this person being likable, not this, not that. This is why I don't care all the slanders and stuff y'all do to Trump. Y'all can call Trump bad. Y'all can call Trump all this. Oh, he sends out mean tweets. I'm like, what my gas prices though?
Bruh.
I'll take my gas prices. That's action. Like, hey, I'm looking for a result. This is why politics could never be something moral to me. I don't understand people who like to take that approach. Oh, we're for the good guy. Who's the good guy? Both of them did bad things, as we can see with the classified documents on Biden.
Bruh.
It doesn't make sense.
Both people are guilty of the same thing. Well, you want to prosecute one and say, oh my God, he's so irresponsible. He's so bad. He's so this. But then when it happens to your guy, Joe Biden, y'all quiet now. Y'all quiet. Bruh, I'm just tired of this tribalism stuff. And sure, I can admit, hey, I could be biased. People can be biased. But end of the day, this is what happens when you're governed by principles, right? You're not governed by, oh, I'm for the Republican Party. Oh, I'm for the Democratic Party. Just call it down the middle. You violate the rules. Hey, you guilty of this, investigation. Biden, you do this. Hey, you guilty, investigation. Simple. But I believe one party is trying to wield power. That's the Democratic Party. They only care about power, what they can get away with. And one party is governed by principles. This is why the Republican Party can almost seem like never agree on anything. Trade-offs. It's trade-offs. But I'd rather see a party bickering and moaning and fighting each other to get the best possible ideas than a party just walk in lockstep. What looks more authoritarian to you? The Democratic Party, who just all go with the flow? Oh, this is what Democratic leadership said we should do. We're voting for this guy. No discourse, no disagreements on their side. Oh, we're about the party. We want the party to look dignified and unified. That sounds authoritarian to me. Democracy is supposed to be messy. You're supposed to disagree.
Bruh.
But hey, I digress.
And my therapist said, well, that's because conservatives have more money. And I said, actually, the average conservative household is 6% less wealthy than the average liberal household.
Yeah, and conservatives tend to be less educated than the a liberal, right? Liberals are more likely to go to college, right? Which has been documented to mean they'll have higher income on average. Yet we still have a better life. Why? I don't know. We're more content with our lives. We're more satisfied with our lives. Look at the stats. Conservative women are the most happiest group of people in the world. And who's the least happiest person in the world right now? A liberal woman.
Bruh.
These are facts. These are statistics. Red states have a lower cost of living than blue states. That's also another reason why. So if I stand a reason, most liberals will live in a liberal state, and while most conservatives will live in a conservative state, right? And if red states have a lower cost of living than blue states, then on average, if you just look at income and not cost, like not cost of living, you'll say, oh, liberals make more money than them. That's my little caveat to the statistics that Larry Elder was citing there. But let's get back into the video.
You're just wrong. And she was shocked. And I said, years ago, I was getting my hair cut. I get my hair cut at a barber shop / beauty parlor. And a lady next to me was going on and on and on about how selfish Republicans and conservatives were. She didn't know who I was. Otherwise, I would imagine she would have been a little more cautious. But again, over and over and over again, I started not to intervene. I was just there to get my hair cut. Mm-hmm. I work for a living. And sometimes I want to take the day off, but I couldn't take it. And I turned to her and I said, excuse me, do you have any idea who gives more money and gives more time to charity, Republicans versus Democrats, liberals versus conservatives? She said, oh, Democrats give more time. Democrats give more.
And this is my problem, bro. And I think this is a lot, like this goes on to America, like American people. This is not necessarily a politician, because politicians are going to politician, right? Am I right? So this is why that's why I started this channel. I want to guide people, say, hey, look, there's information out there. You may not agree, but find counterproof, right? Don't be just led by the nose by these politicians. And that goes for Republican or Democrat. Well, I told you why I'm conservative. I don't want the government to do nothing for me. And I see the political party as a means to an end. That's it. And I think that should be everybody's intention. But if you don't know the actual reality of the situation, hey, these are the results these policies bring me. Do I agree with the results or I don't? Stop looking at intentions. Oh, this was his intention to do. No. Look at the proof. Look at historical precedent. Every time we try this result happened. Do you agree with this result happening? Yes or no? Most people won't question it. And here's another caveat I'll throw out there. Who adopts more kids? Conservatives, overwhelmingly. And then these same liberals who are pro-choice will sit here and yell at conservatives saying that you don't care about pro-life, you just want people to be born. But conservatives also adopt more kids. Bruh. To me, that means the person's authentic. Hey, I'm pro-life. Hey, I'll be willing to adopt kids. While one side said it's better to kill them than to reform the system, and orphanages are not good or bad, instead of doing something about the orphanage and making it a better place, They don't want to do that because then it interferes, it conflicts with what they want you to do. They want you to get an abortion. They want the ability to have an abortion. And if orphanage wasn't bad, if orphanage was a good place to send kids, they'll lose that. They'll lose some weight in their argument for why they need abortion. And you know they can't have that.
How dare you?
But hey, I digress.
Charity. Liberals give more time. Liberals give more charity. I said, actually, it's been studied. There's a book called Who Really Cares by a man named Arthur Brooks.
I'm going to read that book.
And he was shocked because he thought the same thing you thought. He grew up in a non-political household. He wasn't liberal. He wasn't conservative. He was just kind of in the middle. But he just knew intuitively that Democrats were more generous with their time, with their money. He was shocked.
It's crazy how well marketing work, right? Because they say I forgot what quote it was. If you repeat a lie long enough, people will believe it to be true. And that's all perception, right? And I'm about, hey, let's observe reality. Let's not perceive reality, right? That's my main thing. I live in the world of reality, and if you can objective truth overrides my subjective truth. I can believe something to be true, but if objectively is like, yo, this is what it is, I have to accept it. I could believe all I want that I'm not surrounded by 4 walls in this house. I could believe it all I want. I said, I could walk across the bridge right here, but the wall's gonna be known I'm here. And if you don't accept the truth, you're gonna sit here and bang your head against the wall instead of let me go around, let me go out my room and actually go outside through the door, right? That's objectivity. And people will try to act like, oh, that's your opinion, Kenny. When I'm stating something I'm observing, how is it my opinion? If I'm observing something, it's not an opinion. It's a fact. Maybe you can say, hey, you're interpreting it wrong. Maybe you can say that. But you got to give something a more valid counter argument. That's why I don't care about slander. I don't care if you think I'm dumb, ignorant, or what was that other word?
How dare you?
I forget all the insults, but I don't care. Give me a counter argument. That's all I'm here for. That's all I care about. And I'll make adjustments based on that if it's valid and true. But hey, I digress. Let's get back into it.
To find out it was the opposite. And in many instances, it isn't even close. And there are a couple of reasons. The first reason is that conservatives are more religious than liberals. And religious people give a lot more of their time and a lot more of their money to charity. The other thing is this. Most conservatives believe that government ought not be involved in welfare.
Yep, I agree with that too. And this is why when people sit here and say, oh, a circular government is a better government.
Nope.
I disagree. America can only stand with a moral and religious people. That's what it was written, right? And you see it. Why? Because you can't trust people who are not moral with freedom. Because if an amoral person has freedom, he's going to do what? Do what is in his best interest. Which usually is not going to be in your best interest half the time. You'll be anarchy. This is the argument against, libertarians who say, oh, I just want to, no laws, no nothing, right? The Wild Wild West, right? That's what people are going to say. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why a republic won't last unless you can keep it. This is the reason why. Because the circular government is like, yo, I don't trust in anyone. I don't trust you to be doing good on the behalf of another person. So the government effectively becomes your God. If it's not in law, it's not right or wrong. I don't know, man. I just think there's a reason why even the Stoics agree that there needs to be a concept of a higher power, right? The Stoics believe, hey, virtue, strive for virtue. That will be a good and meaningful life. While the religious people, Islam, Muslim, I think they're the same thing. Sorry if I mistaken that. Christianity, they look up to a higher power, aka a creator, whatever name they want to give that creator. Right. And it gives them a groundedness where they're not affected by what's going on in this plane, in the physical realm. So they can call out when the king or the president does something. Hey, that's wrong. Why is it wrong? This is why. They want to be scared to call out authority and power. But in a circular government, the only power matters. Bruh. Tell me I'm lying. In a circular government, only power matters. If I have the power, I'm right. If you don't have the power, you're wrong. It don't matter what you think. But yeah, I digress. Let's get back into it.
And they talk the talk and walk the walk by donating money that they feel government shouldn't be doing because they feel that individuals and nonprofits should be doing it. And after I told her all of that, she said, oh, that's because Republicans have more money. Same as you just now said. And I said, actually, that's also been studied. The average liberal household has about 6% more money than the average conservative household. She was shocked. And by the way, for optics, happened to be a white female. In walks a black female. I said, excuse me, this young lady and I are having a conversation about who's more generous with their time and with their money, liberals or conservatives. What's your opinion? She said, oh, liberals are. By far. They're more.
And even in my own personal experience, that has not been the case, right? So I don't know if you guys know about this organization. This is just from the top of my head because religiously, me and my wife, we always, my son, even from a young age, we volunteer our time to donate gifts and stuff to this organization called, I believe they're called Samaritan Purse, right? And my wife's aunt is involved in that organization. We go there religiously every Thanksgiving, buy a bunch of stuff, pack a bunch of boxes, ship them out to these dropping centers and stuff, and we have a good time doing that, right? And that, last time I checked, I think that was a religious organization.
Bruh.
Which proves my point, even in my personal experience. And I knew a lady, she came, she said, oh yeah, I'm from Jamaica and I'm paying it forward because when I was a child, I used to get these gifts from the Samaritan Purse, and I made it a thing when I came here and I made some means to myself. I would donate a boxes too because I remember how special these boxes meant to me when I received them as a kid. Bro, touching moment. I'm like, oh wow, maybe there is some reach out there. Right? Liberals can do it too, of course, but religious organizations just have this calling that, hey, to do better to thy neighbor, right? Stoics believe in the same concept too. This is why I like Stoicism. There's a lot of cross agreement, cross relationships with the Stoic philosophy and the Bible. It's just the only thing is the Stoics don't believe in like a creator. They just believe in the logos, the truth, right? But, you know, in the Bible, God said he's the truth and the way. So technically, to me, they're the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just the Stoics don't recognize a God. That's it. That's the only difference. So I take the good from the Stoics and I discard the bad, like any idea, like any critical thinking person would do. But hey, I digress. I'm going to leave it here at that. If you guys want to watch the full video, the link's in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And thanks for watching to the end of the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.